Halo campaigns slap. We all know that. But in what order do they slap in? I'm going to be answering that question in the most original way possible. A tier list. But to be more unique, while I talk about a game, I'm going to be playing my favorite campaign mission from that game. Now, instead of doing a tier list that you've seen 1,000 times where I objectively rank these games, I'm going to make it a completely opinionated one. And if you can't handle that, well, there's a dislike button, but it's not like anyone else is going to see it. So, of course, up first, we have Combat Evolved. To get two things out of the way, yes, the Pillar of Autumn is possibly my favorite mission in this game. I know that's stupid. And yes, I'm playing these games in original graphics. There's something about Combat Evolved that I just love more than probably my firstborn child. I didn't think about the fact that the dialogue was going to be so annoying to talk over. The level design is just unbelievably good for 2001. You had some of the really big open snowy tank sections on Assault in the control room. Think about the opening scene for Silent Cartographer. This game just has some kind of charm that I can never wrap my head around why I like it so much. I think it has the best combat loop in the series. It has the most refined difficulty in the series. Like the legendary playthrough on Combat Evolved is extremely fun. Of course, it gets frustrating like the library, but for the most part, it's a good time. Now, clearly the big flaw in this game's campaign is the repeating level design, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't mind it. I kind of like fighting back through the levels like with Flood in them. Like Two Betrayals, seeing the Covenant and the Flood fight is it's super cool to see. Like the AI was designed so well. That's another thing. Combat Evolved's AI is just, it's fucking amazing. How they managed to make AI this smart in 2001 is beyond me. And like I said, I actually kind of like fighting back through those levels because the level design of those levels is still really good. Like it's copy and pasted, sure, but the design was still good in the first place, and it's kind of unique fighting it through with the Flood. And the last thing I'll probably juice this game's fruit over was the blood. Look at this! So I'm putting Combat Evolved in S tier. I absolutely love this game with all of my heart. Alright, up next is Halo 2. Halo 2's art style, I think, is one of my favorite parts about this game. I know that's weird to point out, but like elites look so cool. Everything looked kind of gritty and like all the colors were really popping, especially you can see it in the remaster. Look how good this looks. This is how I saw this level when I was a kid. We got to use the energy sword. The first time playing Halo 2, I don't think you'll probably ever forget pulling out the energy sword for the first time as the Arbiter. It's kind of like getting your first boner. But the best part about this game is its story. Bungie was on their beat when they made Halo 2's story. I don't know how they did it, but it's honestly possibly the best video game story ever. Every single cutscene just gets you absolutely pumped to go fist some aliens. All of the characters, all the dialogue could not have been more well written. So for that reason, you think I'm going to put Halo 2 in S tier, right? Not exactly. I'm not going to lie to you, the level design of Halo 2 is what holds it back a lot to me personally. Like once you get halfway through the game and you start going into like Sacred Icon and stuff like that, the game just starts dragging so badly. The level design was really linear, which I know wasn't entirely their fault. They had budget cuts, but I'm not judging the budget cuts. I'm judging the gameplay. Like I said, the best part about Combat Evolved to me was those really wide open battlefields and open areas. But in Halo 2, everything kind of got funneled down. It's a lot of corridor fighting. It's a lot of sitting in one area and fighting until you get a checkpoint kind of thing. It's still an incredible game, but it falls short to Combat Evolved, in my opinion, purely in the level design factor. Now, an argument that I've seen a lot is, well, it's not as bad as Halo Combat Evolved's repeating levels, but in my opinion, those levels were fun to play through. The design was good. So even though I'm playing back through a same area the second time, that area is still fun to interact with. Like I said, Halo 2 is incredible. Now, if Halo Combat Evolved had Halo 2's story, we would just have the best game ever made. No doubt in my mind, but we don't, sadly. So I'm gonna have to put Halo 2 in an A tier. And also, I have to clarify, an A, B, or even a C on this list is compared to other Halo games. A B on this list is still probably an S compared to most other games. Halo 3. Remember how I said earlier that if we had Combat Evolved's level design and Halo 2's story, we'd have the best game ever made? Well, Halo 3 is pretty damn close to exactly that. Halo 3's campaign is just, it's so good. I know, that's really descriptive. The overall theme of this game was so cool. Like, you know, the whole finish the fight. Every cutscene felt so important. Like, there was no wasted dialogue. It felt like every gameplay section wasn't wasted. Like, it's one of the shorter runtimes in the series. However, it utilizes that time better than any game I've probably ever played. Every mission is unique in its own way. You can pretty much remember every single mission because they're all very impactful. Like I said, there's no sacred icons in this game. You can't say enough about this game's graphics. This was made in 2007. Granted, I'm playing an upscale version on MCC, but it pretty much looked this good in 2007. Look at this. This game's lighting made it age like Tom Brady. Its gameplay was just as incredible to back it up. I am playing the best mission in the entire Halo series. I'm talking, Miranda! Now, I don't think Halo 3's story was quite as good as Halo 2, but it's kind of hard to top perfection, which Halo 2's story was perfection. Like, could you ever forget the shipmaster being told they have 3 ships and he only has 1 and he says it's an even fight, and then you just go balls deep into the desert? I remember how cool it was back in the day that you could destroy the phantoms with a tank. I could play this campaign start to back anytime that I wanted to, because there really isn't a single mission other than Cortana that I dislike, and that mission's over pretty quick. This game wrapped up one of the best gaming trilogies ever. Yeah, Halo 3, yes, you can't change my mind. There's nothing you could say to me to change my mind. All right, now we're on to ODST. Not gonna lie, I don't really have a ton to say about ODST. Now, ODST isn't a bad game. In fact, it might have the best soundtrack and best atmosphere in gaming. It had a pretty good story, and of course, it's a Halo game, so the gameplay's pretty fun. But that being said, though, I do think it gets a little bit boring after like your second or third playthrough. Like I said, it's a spectacle. It looks really cool. It's beautiful. The soundtrack's amazing, but from a pure gameplay point, I don't come back to this one a ton. I do listen to the soundtrack if I'm studying, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm kind of here to grade the gameplay, and while, like I said, ODST is definitely a good game, but like the level I'm playing right now, it goes slow on your second playthrough. That's all I can really say about it, though. So I think I'm gonna put ODST in a B. Again, I don't think it's a bad game, but for replayability-wise and how much I come back to it, I don't play it nearly as much as the other games. Oh, Halo Reach. I said it before, but Reach is probably my favorite game in this series, like for a whole package, like firefight, multiplayer, campaign, armor customization. I know some people don't like it, and that's perfectly fine, but I love Halo Reach, and its campaign is absolutely no exception. It was something different than we've really seen from Bungie before. Like, all of the first 3 Halos, and even ODST at some points, have like really popping art styles. Wait, those barrels explode? What? Damn it, no! But the overall vibe of this game was like super dreary. Everything felt hopeless. I personally really like Noble Team. I know some people think they're kind of dry, but I loved them. When I was like 12, Emil was my hero. I like how all of them had special armors kind of like designed to their characters. And like I said, I loved Reach's customization, and the coolest thing ever was grinding for armor, and then you took that armor into the campaign. You saw your Spartan in the campaign. And the attention to detail is amazing. In the end, when it showed like the helmet stuck in the ground after Reach got glassed, I'm pretty sure it got glassed. I'll have somebody tell me if I'm wrong. It had your helmet there. Whatever helmet you were using was the helmet they had there. I also love that instead of feeling like a super giga badass in this game, everything was kind of stronger than you. Halo Reach had the best elites in the series. They were actually intimidating. When you're playing this game and a couple of gold elites drop down with energy swords, you kind of tighten your butthole a little bit. While Reach's story wasn't as good as 3 or 2, it was still really good in its own right, and the cutscenes were also really well made. I love how everything was like shot from like a camera on Reach. I'll never forget the intro cutscene, the tip of the spear of all the warthogs flipping you get out with a grenade launcher. It was amazing. This game is so goddamn good. I don't think I have enough time in the world to sit and praise this game's campaign enough. Its story is amazing. I love the characters. I love Noble 6. This was such a solid send out for Bungie. It's gonna go S tier easily. All right, Halo 4. I'm not gonna lie to you, I just don't really enjoy Halo 4 at all, really in any aspect. I'm just not a big fan of Halo 4's gameplay in general. This game was so shocking to me as a kid because I remember thinking, oh my god, we're picking up from Halo 3, like right where they left off. That's incredible. But they changed so much about it that was so jarring so quick that it just never grew on me. I don't like how oddly sappy that they made Master Chief and Cortana out of nowhere. His armor was just so drastically different. They changed the art style and, in my opinion, completely ruined how the Covenant looked. I also just never really liked fighting the Prometheans. Like, whenever I was fighting them, I just kind of thought the entire time that I would rather be fighting the Covenant. I never really enjoyed the design decisions that they made with this game. The only thing that kind of carries it is the story. And I don't know how much I like the story, but how much I just kind of respect that it's good for what it is, if that makes sense. Like, Halo 4 story is pretty good. A lot of people like it. There's just not a whole lot about this game that really sticks out to me that I remember and love vividly. It's not total trash, but it's also just not that great in my opinion. So I'm gonna have to put Halo 4 down in C tier. I think that's the best middle of the road grade I could give it. My Infinite campaign isn't installed? Why? When did that happen? Alright, I lied. I'm not going to be doing every single game with gameplay. I don't know why Halo hates me. It probably seems up to this point that I just hate 343 games and I only love Bungie games. That's entirely not true. I think the issue with 4 and 5 was that they didn't feel like Halo games. I know they're not made by Bungie anymore, and I don't just want more Bungie games. I just wanted a new game that kind of took from the source material. Does that make sense? I think Halo Infinite did the perfect job at respecting the Bungie games and what made us love Halo while still having their own touches and flair to it. I love the characters. When something actually happened to them in game, I felt that. Now, story aside, the gameplay is what made it so damn good. The open world concept actually worked really well. I was really nervous about that. I'm not gonna lie, thinking like, you know, they couldn't really make a linear game that I enjoyed, so what makes me think they're gonna make an open world game? But they proved me wrong. They did a great job. I love capturing outposts because they're really fun to use. You can spawn in a Razorback and give all of your Marines rocket launchers, load on like 8 Marines and just go straight into some alien colon. It's so fun. The possibility possibilities for gameplay just feel endless, and I think that's what gave it so much replayability. Like, I feel like you can take any encounter in any way that you want. The grapple hook was god tier. It felt like Halo, but like not so much like old Halo that it wasn't new. They did a really good job going back to the roots of Halo while still innovating, and I really like it. I've replayed it a few times. I like going back to the open world and just going and capturing fobs that I've never captured before, trying to find new weapons, you know? It has replayability. I really give 343 a lot of props for this game. It's really good. I don't like it quite as much as the OG games. Not a perfect game, but it's a pretty damn good game, and I would easily put Infinite in an A tier. So that's gonna wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more Halo content, or you want to see me do tier lists for other game series, let me know down below. Give me ideas. If you liked the video, drop a like. I don't know how else to do outros, so bye.